Dorks, Nerds, Geeks, and Gamers. It's your host, Ghost here, and you're watching a brand new episode of Dorkston Movie Minute. We are going to continue on with our Marvel What If series review and reactions. We are in episode 6 and 7. We're going to start off with episode 6, and this is Marvel's What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. Instead of him end up getting captured in the cave and making the Iron Man suit, what would happen in that scenario? Well, I've got to tell you guys, this has got to be the longest, most convoluted episode of the whole Marvel What If series so far. That ends on a cliffhanger that has me the most disappointed, I've got to say. Not because it was bad, per se. It was actually very good. The animation was just as beautiful as the other episodes. A lot of stuff with Killmonger being a traitor was all there. It was all within his character. With the way he betrays Tony Stark, the way he becomes his friend and turns Obadiah Stane in on him, and the way he becomes the head of security, eventually making his way to Wakanda and making these droids, and then eventually having these battle droids fight Wakanda while he tries to defend Wakanda and be on the side of Wakanda to become the Black Panther. It's all a very convoluted plot point line to make Iron Man and Black Panther movies. One, to kind of combine the plot of both films, with Killmonger basically getting the goal done by saving Tony Stark instead of actually having him make Iron Man in the cave. So I gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed. It was a good episode overall. It was good to see Killmonger come back. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. Great time with that. The main thing was Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther is back in this episode. Kills it again. Unfortunately, he dies in this episode as well. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing Black Panther anymore in the What If series, if he's not just playing the T'Challa Black Panther, or the Star-Lord Black Panther. So I'm curious on that, where they're going to bring Chadwick Boseman back, if they do. But it was awesome to see the Wakanda battle, where the security battle droids attack all the people of Wakanda. You get to see the rhinos. It's very reminiscent of the first Black Panther movie, but better. There's just all-out chaos. Shuri's there. You get the mother there, T'Challa's mom there, just ripping robots apart. You get to see basically everybody from the Black Panther movies there in that one scene, in that action scene. It's very cool to see them all do that. But like I said, very convoluted plot, and it ends on a cliffhanger with Shuri ending up telling Pepper Potts that it was Killmonger that killed Rhodey and that killed Black Panther, and that kind of sets up the truth being revealed about Killmonger, what his plans are as a character. So yeah, a little bit solid animation, solid action scenes, bad writing, convoluted story, and it just kind of layered on itself in a way that could have been told in the MCU. Basically already was told in the MCU, but just in a slightly different way. And I hope with future episodes they take the What If moniker and apply it to bigger what if stories or scenarios, and not just these little switcheroo kind of stories. But it was cool to see a smaller scale story. Just I wish it was a little bit better than the one they portrayed for us. But that's my thoughts on the episode. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. It was a little bit above average just for the animation and the action scenes. But other than that, it was a decent episode to watch. It's something you could put in and play, and not get too concerned about the hiccups and what's going on with the storyline, and all that down the road. Alright, so that was episode 6. We're going to move on to episode 7. This is What If, Marvel's What If Thor Were an Only Child. Now, if I thought the last episode was smaller scale and convoluted, this one's even more convoluted because they wait till the very end to drop any significant story points whatsoever. This one is basically start off with the opening of Thor with Darcy and Jane Foster tracking down Thor just like they did in the original movie, except he ends up showing up in Nevada. He ends up landing in Las Vegas, and since he is an only child without Loki being born, he has no rivalry, no responsibility, and no reason to better himself. So Thor's just basically this bro dude, party animal. He invites all these different aliens to come to Earth in Las Vegas, Nevada to party. It's basically an alien invasion of party animals. But it was cool because there was tons of cameos. You got to see Skrulls in there. You got to see the Kree. You got to see the golden aliens from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 were in there. You got to see Kraggle, you got to see Surtur, you got to see Executioner, all these major Thor characters, all these MCU characters. Howard the Duck in there, him and Darcy. Howard the Duck and Darcy actually hook up Very hilarious scene. I gotta say, this is the funniest episode of What If I've seen so far. Just because the party Thor character really carries the plot forward, and the way he interacts with Jane Foster and some of the other characters is hilarious. Like I said, I'm not trying to spoil this whole thing here, but I am going to give you guys some beats on the best things of these episodes that I enjoyed personally as a Marvel fan. So it was cool to see that. But basically, the whole episode is basically about Thor partying a little bit too much. Jane Foster's trying to stop him, find ways to get around it, because apparently Korg took out Nick Fury on accident by partying and jumping in the pool with him and putting him in critical condition, apparently. So Maria Hill gets Jane Foster, Darcy, and everyone else to try to stop Thor from partying and destroying the world or whatever with his partying. They end up telling Thor's mother, so Thor freaks out, and he's trying to stop his mom from coming to Earth. He ends up meeting Loki again, who are they are best buds in real life when they're not brothers. And yeah, it's actually the ice giant Loki that we saw from the Loki TV series that they teased. So there is a bit of that connective tissue still going through the animated and the live-action Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's definitely paying off in both dividends, and you can tell that here. So that's cool to see as well. But yeah, very good episode, but literally nothing happens plot-wise. His mom comes down to stop the party. She basically, shame on you, Thor, you shouldn't be doing this. Thor agrees, so he basically tries to quit partying, and that's basically the end. The Watcher's even like, oh, the end of the story. It all ends happily ever after, or not. And then at the very end, we get a portal opening, and here comes Ultron with all the Infinity Stones, the Age of Ultron, who is making all these clones and going into different multiverses and then wiping out those multiverses. That Ultron's here in animated form. And the thing that's such a big deal about that is that we know that this Marvel What If show is canon. So we know that Ultron with the Infinity Stones, the Age of Ultron is now out there wiping out these multiverses, and why, and how that ties into the live-action MCU and the roadmap they've already got set with us with Kang and multiverse travel and all this craziness that's going on right now with the MCU. I couldn't be more excited, though. It was a funny episode, one of the funniest episodes of all. I love the change of pace, I love the different style, and I love how Thor is the catalyst of fun times and partying, and it worked out really well as a Marvel What If episode. I give this one an 8 out of 10, a little bit more solid than the last episode, actually a lot more solid than the last episode. But that's just me. I love this more comedic one-off tone that they did with this one. And then they tacked on a very, very potent end scene to keep you invested in the series going forward. So I thought it was very good payoff, and I did enjoy it. 8 out of 10. So that's my two thoughts on episodes 6 and 7, guys. On what if Killmonger had saved Iron Man, and what if Thor were an only child. I cannot wait to do episodes 8 and 9 come down later down the road. So stay tuned for those, guys, and let me know down below what you guys think of the Marvel What If series. Are you enjoying the episodes they've done so far and the storylines they've told us so far? Let me know down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And as always, guys, keep it right here on Dorkston. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.